Using his veto powers, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers has signed a new state budget that increases funding for public education for the next 400 years. I'm not kidding, this is real. Here are the details. The surprise move will ensure districts' state-imposed limits on how much revenue they are allowed to raise will be increased by $325 per student each year until 24-25, creating a permanent annual stream of new revenue for public schools and potentially curbing a key debate between Democrats and Republicans during each state budget writing cycle. I love this. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how the governor was able to do this. Apparently the veto power that he has here is part of a negotiation or some deal that he made with Republicans. Usually when it comes to Democrats, they're on the losing end of these negotiations, but certainly not in this case. So I wanna show you a screenshot of or I should say a snippet of the budget itself. And the red indicates what the governor changed in the budget proposal. So Evers crafted the 4th-century school aid extension by striking a hyphen and a 20 from a reference to the 2024-2025 school year. The veto was one of more than 4 dozen the Democratic governor made to reshape the $99 billion 2-year state budget that Republicans had passed last week. So he's able to make alterations to it and then sign it. And so among the vetoes, you should know about the other actions he's taken here, was the majority of the centerpiece of Republican lawmakers' budget plan, a $3.5 billion tax cut that focused relief for the state's wealthiest residents. The reshaped budget will provide $175 million in tax relief and won't condense the state's 4 income tax brackets into 3, as Republicans proposed, according to the governor. So just to kind of summarize that, I know there's a lot of wording there. What he decided to do was cut taxes a little bit, but not for the highest earners in the state. He maintained some tax cuts for middle-class earners while keeping taxes the way they are for higher earners in the state. He refused to condense the brackets from 4 to 3, which obviously was meant to redistribute wealth from the bottom to the top. Honestly, that's usually the way it works. I have more details for you, but Cenk, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so first of all, I don't like this kind of executive authority where they go, okay, here's a bill that's sent to me, and George Bush started this. It was called a unilateral executive authority, right? And he goes, okay, well, I'm crossing this part out. I'm just rewriting it entirely. Now the executive branch does it. The judicial branch does a different version of it. There were liberal activists on the Supreme Court. There are now conservative activists on the Supreme Court. And they just keep taking laws and going, nah, I don't like it. I'm gonna change it to this, this, and this, right? So that's not your job. Having said all that, I love this. Wait, why? Because what do I tell you guys on the show all the time? Uneven playing field, right? The Republicans do tactics like this all the time, 24/7. And I always ask, hey, do we have governors? Are there blue states along with red states? So what's going on? Can somebody fight back? And so we did, in this case, Tony Evers did. So God bless them. So if they don't like it, they shouldn't have given him that authority. I don't think any governor should have that authority, whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. So, okay, so they've decided to give him the authority and he decided to use it. Okay, sad day for you, Republicans, and that's how it works. If you don't like it, go to any of the red states where they do stuff like this every single day.
And I hear what you're saying, Cenk, because whenever there's broad executive power at a time when your preferred politician, I mean Tony Evers, he's got the Republicans like tied up.
I don't know if the audience can hear it.
There's someone like banging in a building next to us. Anyway.
No, it's probably some idiot. But anyways, all right, let's keep going.
But anyway, so Tony Evers is great, and obviously he has a lot of the priorities that progressives would want, certainly when it comes to things like keeping taxes the way they are for the highest earners, ensuring that there's adequate funding for public education for years, in this case, centuries to come. But what if some Republican gets elected in the future in a gubernatorial race and has the same executive powers, right? You don't want that. So I can you're looking far ahead in the downsides of this kind of executive power, and I totally concur with that. That being said, I didn't want to focus too much on that component of it because this is a giant win for progressives, for Democrats. I love what he did here.
Yeah, and let me give you more context too. So the Republicans vetoed a lot, struck down a lot of the things that the governor wanted, the Democratic governor, like expansion of Medicaid, expansion of having paid family leave in Wisconsin, which would have been incredible for mothers. It's a great progressive priority that a great majority of the citizens agree with. So they struck all that stuff down. So he's like, oh, you don't like that? Well, then I'm gonna strike down your tax cuts for the wealthy. Sad day for you. You strike down things for the average man. I strike down things for your donors, and that's how we play this game. So the fact I'm telling you, I'm floored by this. I've never seen a Democrat fight back like this.
It is amazing. Okay, I got to give you more details, right? Because Republicans in the state are stewing, and so Robin Vos, who's a Wisconsin Assembly member, a Republican, contradicts themselves in this statement. But here's the beginning of it: vetoing tax cuts on the top 2 brackets provides hardly any tax relief for truly middle-class families. And then goes on to say his decision also creates another economic disadvantage for Wisconsin, leaving our top bracket higher than most of our neighboring states, including Illinois. So what are your real concerns here, Robin? Is it middle-class earners or the highest earners in the state of Wisconsin?
It's the highest earners. How did we know? Because you just said it.
Literally, yeah.
Literally, you were like, okay, yeah, like our top bracket, our beloved top bracket, almost all of our bribes, campaign contributions come from that bracket. We have to serve that bracket. We're Republicans, the party of the rich. Wait, did I say that out loud? We're the party of grabbing power even when we didn't earn it and we didn't get enough votes, but now we're worried about Tony Evers grabbing power? So look, we've got to end this kind of authority overall for Republicans or Democrats in the long run. But for now, thank you to Tony Evers for fighting back. First governor in a million years to fight back against Republicans. Attaboy, way to be. And Republicans, keep crying. We're collecting the tears. We'll make some products out of it later and sell it.
It is nice to see resources go toward things that matter, like education.
Yeah, and by the way, what are they crying about? Oh, there's no tax cuts for the rich. They give it to your kids instead to educate your kids. We don't want your kids being protected or educated. Wait, don't we say all the time we're worried about the kids in the schools? Oh, the tax cuts for the rich are so much more important. Okay, Republicans, hey, those are Republican legislators, and they're all on the record, and they're all saying tax cuts for the rich are more important than your kids. You should know that about the Republican Party. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.